All right, guys, welcome back to day 2 with our book, Charlie Needs a Cloak. Words and Pictures by Tommy DePola. All right, so we've been listening to stories and retelling them in our own words, haven't we? And when you do that, it helps you think more about the story and it helps you to understand it better. So what does it mean when I ask you to retell a story? Go ahead and pause and tell your partner right now. All right, I'm going to keep going. Did you tell your partner that it means to go back to the beginning and say all the important things in order? Good, because today we're going to work on retelling the sequence of events. So sometimes you can think back and remember some of the things of the story, but you might tell them out of order. A lot of times we remember fresh in our minds the thing that just happened at the end, but we don't want to tell the story backwards or in some crazy order that won't make sense. We got to think all the way back to the beginning and do it in sequence or in order. All right, let's see. So today we're going to reread Charlie Needs a New Cloak, and we're going to stop a few times to retell it with our partner. Remember, it's important that you speak clearly when you're retelling the story. It's also important to take turns with your partner because, as you've seen when we've been live teaching, that especially during guided reading groups, that you can get a little information from each student to have a really good retell all together. Sometimes you need each other. All right. Charlie was a shepherd. He had a cozy house, a big hat, a crook, and a flock of fat sheep. But everyone said, Charlie needs a cloak. Poor Charlie. He really needed a new cloak. So in the spring, Charlie sheared his sheep. He washed the wool and carded out the wool to straighten it out. Sorry, he carded the wool to straighten it out. All right, what has happened so far? Back to the beginning, tell in sequence. All right, good. Pause me if you need to, but I'm gonna go on. Then Charlie spun the wool into yarn. Charlie wanted a red cloak, so he picked some pokeweed berries during the late summer and boiled them over a fire. Then Charlie dyed the yarn red in berry juice. After the yarn was dry, Charlie put the strands on the loom. And every fall evening, he wove the yarn into cloth. All right, we're gonna stop again. What happens during the part of the story you just heard? From between we last stopped and retold until now. I'll give you a hint. We last stopped when he was straightening the wool. So what happened after that? Remember how, and try to do it in sequence. All right, here we go. Charlie put the cloth on the table and cut it into pieces. He pinned the pieces together and sewed them. He needs glasses to do that. There's a lot of really fun things in the illustrations. Like right there, there's a mouse carrying a shoe away. And then winter came. Here's another cute little thing. He likes to put little surprises that don't really have a lot to do with the story in it. Charlie had a beautiful new red cloak. All right, what happened in that last chunk of story you just heard? Go ahead and tell your partner. All right, are you ready for your discussion board question? I want to know, what did you learn about making cloth in this story? I'm assuming you didn't know much about making cloth before you heard the story. So what did you learn about making cloth? You don't have to go through the whole process from beginning to end. I just want to know what some things you learned about it. All right, so head over to your discussion board and answer that question. And one more thing, what did you and your partner do to help each other retell this story? Talk to your partner about what you guys did. Awesome. I love when you guys help each other out. All righty. I will see you tomorrow for your vocabulary words from our book. Bye, guys.